Okay, and we're live. So let's say good evening to everyone. As it's just after 6 p.m. here in Australia. So wherever you are, hope you're all having a good day. So I thought we'd have a bit of a chat today. And anyone who wants to join me today, you're more than welcome. I'll post the link here at the top. There we go. So last time I was talking about how to stick to New Year's resolutions. And I was talking about the fact that people need to make them into, make an actual routine and plan them, sort of make a routine because routines become habits and it's our habits that make us successful or not, right? Hey, Jenny, how you doing? Good to see you, mate. Um, but I'm also want to share with you today, like ways to make time or find time. Finding time is actually a little bit easier than most people think as well. Because if you're anything like me, I procrastinate a lot, and especially I have ADHD, so it's kind of difficult because you get what's called mind blindness, time blindness. Um, so I found a very good habit for me to keep track of what I'm doing and focusing on how to find more time. Because I've got a few things going on this year that I really need to make sure that I sort of organize myself a bit better. So the thing I do is I write down, each day what I'm doing between, for each hour. So I've got, say, 8, 16, 18 hours each day. And I write down exactly what I'm doing for that time in each hour, because that to me is one, keeping myself accountable. But two, it shows exactly where I'm spending my time, and that to me is that can be very important. So the thing is, we tend to lose a lot of time doing things that we don't realize we're doing. Like, especially, you're talking about social media, we're scrolling through social media. Like, how many times or how many hours do you spend watching YouTube or scrolling through Instagram or TikTok or anything else like that, especially on your mobile phone, you're carrying it around with you. And most people are sort of bury their nose in it even while they're walking. So it's amazing just how much time you spend. And if you get into the habit of writing down exactly how much time, don't judge yourself. It's not, you don't have to be hard on yourself or anything like that. But like live streams, yes. Yeah. Ironic. But you'd be surprised just how much time you spend actually scrolling through social media. And if you write down the time you start and then the time you finish, you realize, wow, there are things that I could have been doing during that period. Didn't really need to waste so much time, sort of thing. And that's what, it's just be honest with yourself, and that it's kind of an eye opener. It was for me, especially. So, I find it a very useful way to sort of keep myself accountable as well, and sort of motivates me more to get into the things that I should be doing as well. So it's a good tool, give it a try. There are apps, actually, you can get phone apps these days that will help you keep track of your schedule. But for my mind, I sometimes I don't even bother checking my phone for these sorts of things. Like, especially if you get online and you start scrolling through social media, you don't really start tracking my schedule so much. So I think it's good to have it in a visible place. I actually have a notepad next to my computer, but I also have whiteboards. Like, I have these little whiteboards that keep things track, and that sort of, if I see it constantly, that makes it easier for me to keep track of. These things that I tend to or I need to do, actually. So, um, I suppose I should introduce myself a bit more. You know, for people who come to my new people who come to my channel, uh, January is a big month for me, and um, I there's a lot of things that have happened, in my life that all seem to sort of culminate around January for some reason. Um, you know, just 3 days ago was the anniversary of my sister passing away. She took her own life, and it's one of those things. You sort of never really. I don't know. I still kind of think about it every now and then, anyway, especially on it through January. But also, 13 years ago now, it's crazy how time flies. It really is. It's 13 years this month. I was diagnosed with follicular lymphoma, stage 4, with stage 3 kidney disease and liver disease, and I had a large tumor wrapped around my aorta, and given months, simply months to live. So 13 years this January is it's quite an occasion. And because I was living in a different country at the time, that meant that I lost everything that I had built in, because I was living in Japan, so I lost everything that I had. So January is a big anniversary for me. I suppose it's on the positive side, like I've made it to another one. I've made it to another January, you know. But after being diagnosed, and the second time was also in January. So, two in 2012 January, and then 2014 January, both diagnoses. The second time stage 4 as well. So it seems January sort of has those, just one of those things, I guess. Thank you, Jeannie. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's amazing. People. People go through. Hey, Joff, how you doing, my man? People go through a lot of trauma in life. There's a lot of different things that happen to everyone. Has a different path, and everyone goes through different traumas and so on. And people deal with them differently. You know, um, like my sister, she took her own life because she was going through things that she didn't think she could get past. So, but I think if you know, like my story, I tend to think like these things that everything that happens in life is temporary. There's nothing really permanent about anything, because we are always in a constant state of change. You know, and that's one of the reasons why I started the YouTube channel. Okay, it's also because of my sister. Um, because if I can get past what I've been through and come out of it, and like I'm still working on things, obviously, because with my condition, with follicular lymphoma, it's always there. It's there for the rest of your life, right? So this is something that I need to manage every day. You have to make it happen. Like I make it happen every single day. There's no rest. So you can't just sort of, okay, I'm feeling healthy now, so I'll just go back to everything the way I was doing before. Everything's good, sort of thing. This is something you need to sort of keep on, like, on top of constantly. But as I said, this month is 13 years since I was first diagnosed, and that diagnosis took away everything I had: my home, my business in Japan, everything that I had built in Japan. I've been living there for 10 years. And that left me homeless and going through treatments and all sorts of stuff for years afterwards. So, like I said, if you these situations, though, they're not a permanent thing, you know, and that's and like I said, that because of my sister, is one of the reasons why I started this channel, because I find like people take their life so easily, or they think that um, the situation that they are in is insurmountable and it is a permanent thing because they can't see past it, you know? It's kind of like driving at night, though. Is like when you're driving at night, you can only see so far ahead because the lights allow you to see, like, so only a certain distance, right? So you can't really see all that far ahead. Um, and when you only see like a short, like like a short distance in front of you, it can be very scary, you know, especially if you're in a bad situation. You tend to think, well, this is it. This is as good as it gets. And I've been there too. Like I've been there, yeah, many, many days where it felt like, well, if this is as good as it gets, then what's the point of continuing, you know? Um, and I saw that a lot too, because the year before I left Japan, yeah, the tsunami and 9.1 earthquake that hit us there, so many people took their lives afterwards because they thought that the situation, especially like around Fukushima and things like that, the power plant, and everyone had to evacuate because their farms and everything like that. They lost a lot. You know, they lost their farms, they lost their businesses and livelihoods and so on. So you know, the suicide rate was astronomical. You know, after that event. You know, so these are you know, people go through a lot, especially this time of year. I think too. You know, a lot of people feel that pressure. But yeah, so that was actually one of the reasons why I started this channel. You know? So sorry, I just wanted to say, like, this is just an anniversary month for me. I didn't want to get all sort of too serious about it, but that's really where I sort of got, you know, did this. So I just wanted to let people know that, you know, that, but there are networks, there are things that you can that are out there that can help you deal with situations as well. You know, like sometimes you just need to talk to someone, or you just need to take a step back and look at the situation from a distance. You know, like sort of step out of yourself, out of your mind for a little while, and um, I think that for me as well. I mean, especially when you have ADHD too, like depression is actually one of the it's very it's one of the problems that you deal with when you have ADHD, because your emotions are sort of always up and down, and you do get depressed very easily, and you know, and so on. But um, you know, breath work has really helped me with that, because breath work has taught me how to control my autonomic nervous system. You know, help me to get me out of that sort of constant um, sort of that sort of was that constant sort of uh, nervous state where I'm like overthinking everything, and everything's too much, like too, you know, just it's just going crazy sort of thing. So breathwork has really been a I would say a lifesaver, actually, in many ways, more than just, you know, the physical, as you know, the physical benefits, but certainly, you know, emotional and mental benefits as well. You know, being able to control your nervous system is a very big help. Good to see you, Joff. The link's at the top there if you want to join, mate. Yeah. Most dangerous thing is losing hope. Yes, that's right, Jeannie. Um, you know, people do lose hope. You know, it can be. It's a different. You know, trauma can affect people very differently. Like different people have, you know, different ways of dealing with things. Um, But I have found that even like with everything that I've been through, um, you know, coping with things internally has been, you know, the biggest help for me has been breath work, being able to like bring myself down into that ventral vagal state and getting out of my head and being able to look at things from a distance, being able to assess the situation a bit easier. Because when you get caught up in that sympathetic nervous state where you are constantly thinking about like on the go and nothing is settled, you're sort of always stressed about it, and you get a lot of physical problems such as high blood pressure, high heart rate. You can't digest your food as much. You get leaky gut. You get all kinds of health problems as well. Your hormone production goes down. Um, your cortisol goes up, testosterone goes down, and your blood cell production goes down. So your immune system gets weaker as well. So there's a lot of physical problems when you're dealing with stressful situations like that, constant stress like that. Um, but emotional and mental problems as well, obviously, are going to arise as well. Yeah. So this is one of the greatest benefits I've gotten myself personally from breath work, to be able to get outside of myself, to be able to bring myself down into that calm state of ventral vagal state, and calm my nervous system, has made a very big difference to my life. So this is one of the reasons why I think that breath work is easily as important as nutrition, and maybe more so, probably more so, actually. Yeah. Thank you, Joff. I really appreciate that, man. Do you think your breathing techniques could help with asthma? Absolutely. Um, Dr. Bateko actually, I think he's a Swiss doctor, or is it a Dutch doctor? Anyway, a European doctor in the 70s. It's called Dr. Bateko. You may have heard there's breathing techniques called Bateko breath work. Okay. That was actually originally, as part of that, was actually developed specifically for asthmatics. Okay. He cured asthmatics with just because asthma on whole, right, is really the fact that people are over breathing, for one. They have a low CO2 tolerance, and they because of that low CO2 tolerance, yet they don't have an efficient gas exchange. So there's a number of things going on, but Buteyko breathwork techniques basically focused on not just elevating CO2 levels, because when you overbreathe in that state, you are blowing off too much CO2. And normally in a homeostasis period, as soon as you return to normal breathing, your body will adjust the CO2 and oxygen levels. And it's actually the blood oxygen. There's actually a test you can do. It's called the BOLT score. It's called the blood oxygen level test, right? But as soon as you return to normal breathing, like within a couple of minutes, your CO2 levels and oxygen levels will balance out, because your body knows how to return to autonomic, knows how to return to homeostasis, sort of thing. But the problem is, if you are constantly breathing, over breathing, then you are constantly blowing off too much CO2, for example. And then you get problems like asthma and other respiratory sort of problems as well. But the way Buteyko breathwork helps with asthmatics is you basically learn they actually started using the Bolt score for one, whereas the Bolt test, okay, it's a very simple test. You just take a few normal breaths, very calm. Like say you're doing cardiac coherent breathing, and then just simply pinch the nose. Okay, so you relax breath, breathe out, take an exhale, hold your nose, and simply count how many seconds it takes before you feel the very first inclination to try and breathe again. Okay. So it just the slightest thing. Don't try and hold your breath. Just hold it until you get that first inclination that you need to breathe. All right. And it can be very slight. But anywhere between, like anything under 15 seconds is very, very low. Okay. Your blood oxygen levels, right? Around 20 to 25 is fairly average. Anything over 30 is very good. 30 to 40 is very good. Okay. So like almost athlete level, but you have to do the test properly and be honest. But yeah, even techniques like so techniques that really not so don't really need to boost your CO2 levels because you don't want to have too much in there, but you can build your CO2 tolerance. Okay. But so one, you need to return to functional breathing because that's the first step. You need to train your autonomic nervous system to return to functional breathing. Okay. And I know this because I used to be asthmatic myself. Okay. When I was a teenager, especially, I had strong asthma, but I've got out of it through sports and other things. Um, First off, you need to train your autonomic nervous system to uh, return to functional breathing. So, cardiac coherent breathing exercises, say 5 minutes first thing in the morning, 5 minutes at lunch, 5 minutes before you sleep. Just try and breathe 5 seconds in through the nose, 5 seconds out through the nose, and don't just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like actual seconds. Okay, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2. Okay, so 5 seconds in through the nose, 5 seconds out through the nose. Train your autonomic nervous system to breathe at a calm, efficient rate. Okay. And other ways that, and then after that, you can build CO2 tolerance. All right. So we do prolonged breath holds, exhale breath holds, and inhale breath holds. The longer you can hold your breath, the longer obviously the more CO2 your body can tolerate. Okay? And this just takes practice. Like I started at 10 seconds, and now like an exhale breath hold I can hold for 4 minutes. All right. Um, there are things that I also do, especially at the moment. Now I am um, now I'm part of one of my goals that I'm doing this year, that I have this year, that as I have started free diving. Like actually, who I'm training for. Free divers actually will dive down deep into the ocean with on one breath of air, right? So this is what I'm training for this year, and a lot of the techniques that I am using to build my own CO2 tolerance. Okay, so you can do this either static, okay, so not moving, just sitting still or lying down, or you can do this moving. Um, it's, the other thing that I'm doing this year is studying with the Shaolin monks on their breathwork techniques and so on, because they have different techniques where very slow controlled breaths with movement. Okay. And they're with each movement, they have timing with each breath, and they actually get down to like 1 breath per minute. So it's very, very slow controlled breathing. that this will also build your CO2 tolerance. But start small, start small, like even from a static position, either lying down or sitting in a lotus position, like legs crossed, just calmly breathing. And then on an exhale, hold it and just see how long you can hold your breath on the exhale. You don't need to get to the point where you pass out, okay? Because, unless you're getting ready for a competition or something like that, you don't need to push yourself that far. Even if you just go to the first inclination of needing to breathe, okay, that's enough to start with, even if it's only like 10 seconds or less even, because that will grow. If you do this daily, you'll be surprised how fast your CO2 tolerance will grow. And that will improve asthma, okay, your asthma symptoms. So you can do it either static or moving. I also use like just a stationary bike. I do sprints each day. I do between 6 and 10 sprints every minute on the minute. But I'll do exhale breath holds while sprinting. And then when I return to normal breathing, it is a controlled breath, because you want to be able to, even while you are exerting yourself, you want to be able to control your breath. The slower and deeper you can breathe while you are doing sport, for example, the more efficient your oxygen delivery is going to be. It's not about breathing a lot more because you're moving. It's about controlling your breath, having strong CO2 tolerance, and having a more efficient oxygen delivery. Okay. So I like doing it that way. You can also do inhale breath holds. So sometimes I'll mix up the sprints with like I'll inhale and then sprint. And free divers do this as well. When they do their long deep dives and they practice this in a pool, they will do what they call stacking. They'll stack the air. So there's a few techniques that involve, even the monks do this. They have like a 3-step process of breathing. So you breathe into the belly, then you breathe into the diaphragm and chest, and then you breathe in what they call clavicular breathing, where they open up the chest, pull the elbows in and back, and pretty much they fill the air, they fill their body with air. You can sort of like when you've eaten too much and you can sort of feel it in the back of your neck, sort of thing. And you feel full with air, right? And then slowly release the air out, very controlled release. Again, this is it takes a lot of control to do this repeatedly, sort of thing. And then you can do this either static again, or you can do it with while you're walking. For example, if you're walking outside and just or walking upstairs or anything like that, and just hold your breath and see how long you can hold your breath while you are walking or walking upstairs. Again, don't do it to the point where you feel like you're going to pass out or get dizzy, especially if you are doing moving like that, because you don't want to fall and hurt yourself, sort of thing. Okay. So there are many ways that you can do this. And it's really, especially for asthma, it's really about building up your CO2 tolerance, or developing an efficient breathing technique first, okay, to training your autonomic nervous system, and then building your CO2 tolerance. Okay. That's how you get rid of asthma. Howdy, Josephine. How you doing? Oh, that's all right. I've really only just started. Actually, it's been 30 minutes. Very good. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Oh my gosh. Three ads. Oh, sorry about that. Didn't realize they have so many ads on my channel. There you are. Should not get ads on lives. Yeah, actually, let me see if I can change that for you. I will. I didn't realize. Let's see. Let's take that off. There we go. That should be right now. Okay, Josephine, that should cut out the ads. Okay, yes, 4 minutes. Exhale, breath hold. You can't, I mean, I can't hold much longer than that. Just, I think the longest I've done is like 4.5 minutes. But inhale, breath hold, because I like using the exhale breath holds for many reasons. For example, with hypoxia inducible factors, when you use an an exhale breath hold, you very quickly develop hypoxia inducible factors, the HIFs, that stimulate your kidneys to produce more EPO. Okay, and that will produce a lot more blood cells and so on, stem cells and so on from your bone marrow. So I really enjoy the prolonged exhale breath holds. But with the inhale breath holds, especially if you're static, you can really hold them for a long time. You know, like sometimes, you know, I've done over 8 minutes. The world record for a free diver was actually, was it 24.5 minutes, 24 minutes and 37 seconds, I think it is. Yeah. An incredible breath hold, you know, underwater, you know, he did this. So, have you ever felt your lips tingle when doing breath work? Oh yeah, I've felt my whole body tingle, especially after an ice bath. Because the first thing I do in the morning is an ice bath. Like, especially like at the moment, I feel I have 20 liters of ice I put into my ice bath. So it's not really nice and very cold. And then breath work immediately afterwards, especially with a prolonged breath hold. Like if you're doing breath of fire, for example, um, where you actually like you visualize it's kind of like tumor breathing, like monks actually use they actually visualize a fire, like an internal heat rising from their belly. But it's really very quite active, especially in the belly area. So it really circulates, gets your lymphatic system moving and everything like that. But then with prolonged breath holds, like you can feel your pulse in your neck, you can feel your heart rate slowing down, and you can feel the blood flowing through your fingertips and into your toes, and yeah, even around your head, and your whole body tingles. It feels good. It feels fantastic, actually. Mm. Jonathan, how you doing, my man? Nice to see you. If you feel like having a chat, the link's up the top there, brother. More than welcome. You're most welcome, Jeannie. Yeah, most welcome. It's again like asthmatic is just unfortunately it's just an untrained autonomic nervous system problem. Okay. You can really the Buteyko method is famous for helping asthmatics. So actually, there's a if you actually have a look on YouTube, there's a Buteyko breathing. It's quite popular. An Irish guy, I forget his name at the moment, but he actually wrote a book about Buteyko breathing and asthma and stuff like that as well. So didn't sleep much last night. Lots on today. Okay. How you doing, sir? I'm doing well, mate. I'm doing well. It's been, January is always a bit of a sketchy month for me, which I was sort of talked about before, so I won't go too much into that. But it's, dealing with depression and things like that. So, but it has, I'm coming out of it, and it's like I think it's a big thing for me. Actually, is the things that I've got going on this year have really helped me this year. So I'm looking forward to it. Everything's going to be great, I think. Hello there. Nice of you to join me. Just wanted to share this. I made a new friend down the health club recently. She uses a cane too, but still works out. Good. Excellent. Just a friendly friend. Nothing exciting. Well, not yet. See what happens, mate. See what happens. So yeah. No, that's good, man. Yeah, it's good that you can find people like that. Actually, you can sort of you get someone on the same level, sort of working out, and you can inspire each other as well. That's good. Well done, man. Yeah, I would join today, but got to be mindful of the time. Yeah, that's cool. No worries, man. Let's have an off-air chat soon. We can share ideologies. Yes. Yeah, anytime, man. Anytime. Yeah, just let me know. There's no shortage of them. No shortage of them. Idiotic experiences. Yeah, you get it's really difficult. Can in Jonathan's situation there, like cannibal muscle, right? You a disabled athlete, but he looks very fit and strong and healthy. Um, and much like I was when I was first diagnosed as well. So people tend to think or discount what you're going through. They either like the hospital will ignore you because they think, oh, he looks fine, he looks healthy, sort of thing, and that sort of is one of the reasons why it took so long for me to be diagnosed in the first place, because I looked very fit and healthy. Um, but then you get the other extreme where you get so many people giving you advice, like, try this and you try that. If you just think positive, yeah, everything's going to be fine. Eh, eh, it, you, oh, yeah. Yeah, so it's people. It's just people. Yeah, there's nothing to do about that, I guess. It's just one of those things you have to deal with. Yes, doctors should know better. Yeah, yeah, doctors should know better. Yeah, I had I think more than a year before, like I had been getting blood tests done, and like even in Japan, they thought that the blood test didn't match what I looked like, so they just discounted it and ignored it and said, "Well, here's some cold and flu meds, and away you go," sort of thing. So it wasn't until I actually returned to Australia then I was diagnosed, like a year after my before. Mm. Next Wednesday, I find out what the hospital wants to do next. Yeah, I hate waiting on hospital decisions. I'll keep everyone updated. Yeah, good man. I'm glad you can relate this. Here. Do you think you could record your 8-minute breath hold? Yeah, sure. I could do that for you. Yeah, I could do that. Hmm. Yeah, carnivore no longer needs air. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, maybe I might do that. Actually, I will do some more training videos. I haven't put up a video for a while, actually, for a number of reasons, because it's just um some of the things I've been going through recently, but and trying to decide what to do with the channel at the moment as well, because whether it's worth continuing with the channel or not has been something I've been thinking about recently as well. Um, but yeah, I'll do that. I'll do some prolonged breath hold videos for you, and I'll show you um, how to stack air as well. So, like free divers, for example, if you're talking about stacking air, it's really about trying to fill the body with as much air as possible. Now, that includes now, actually, the Shaolin monks do the same thing. They're trying to fill when they talk about qi, when they talk about qigong and things like that. Their breathing techniques. Chi to them is like it's not just air or energy or light. It's like it's everything around it. Like you're breathing in life, right? And so they fill up the body as much as they can with this breath, with one breath. So they fill the stomach up very slowly inhale, and then the chest, and then like the clavicular breathing, like I was talking about before. But free divers will do the same thing. Okay, but like in like breath hold competitions, like in the pool, even they like they'll have these nose clips. Okay, this is a nose clip here to close, keep the nose closed underwater. But then they'll just mouth breathe, and once they've filled up the stomach and the lungs, and then they're just trying to stack air on top, sort of, and just continue to inhale and inhale and inhale and inhale until they can't inhale anymore. Right, so they'll take in like each step an extra inhale until they just can't, and then they'll do their underwater, breath hold and so on. So pretty cool. Mm. Yes, yeah, yeah, breatharians. Well, like, yeah, that's, I mean, it's a people. It's amazing, isn't it? People really do go to extremes. See, this has been my outlook from the start, right? When I started this channel, and you like, yes, I am an advocate for the carnivore diet because I that's what I use, and that's what I've used over for many years now. But I have tried everything else, and I've this is really about my experience of um, finding an optimal diet. All right? But from the start, I've always said that it takes more than your nutrition, and this is why I've been trying maybe a little bit too much at times. I sort of talk about the benefits of breath work, and but there are a vast amount of benefits from breath work, grounding and light, and these other modalities as well. Um, but the three main things that that I think are absolutely non-negotiables are obviously your nutrition, breath work, and ice baths. Okay, these are the three non-negotiables for me. All right. Um, heat is also very good. Or like cold therapy or heat therapy. That I sort of categorize together. Because we use them both. But people always go to extreme. That they've always think that there's one thing that they focus on, and it's like they tend to like. I think of the like I've said this before. Like I tend to think of the body like a clock, right? It's a mechanism that requires many cogs to make it all work together. And if you get it right, all these things work synergistically. All right, they work together perfectly. The right diet, breath work, ice bath, like, sure, like, our ancestors didn't have, like, ice baths, right? But they didn't have hot and cold running water either. They used, streams and, ice lakes and, in winter, they would still go swimming in the lake sort of thing, and they did, all these things that we don't normally do today because we're so comfortable with, just turn on the hot water sort of thing. Um It's really about you being as ancestrally close as possible, or mimicking, as close to ancestral living as we can. So the best way for me to do that is with an ice bath, right? Or cold showers or so on. So again, like I said, like, but you always get these people always go to extreme in one thing. Like they pick one cog from the clock, and they think that's the one cog that makes everything else work. You know, like it's, you know, I mean, what doesn't matter whether you're talking about vegans or carnivores. People, carnivore. I've never said that carnivore is, the cure for everything, right? Like, some people do, but then, recently these influencers start adding, carbs, and all of a sudden it's like carnivore, it did 90% of the work, but now, sauerkraut's the other 10% sort of thing. I mean, seriously, you know. I mean, I've always advocated, saying I've used sauerkraut myself, for years, because it was great for IBS problems when especially after chemotherapy. It was very, very useful, and it's very cheap. But I think the biggest part about the sauerkraut, the most benefit you get from is the fact that it's um, fermented in salt. So you get a lot of electrolytes. Okay. And when you have IBS, you are flushing out a lot of electrolytes from your body, from your system. So I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons why sauerkraut is quite good. And especially if you're going through dietary changes, you're going to have different problems because your body takes time to adjust, right? And sometimes it might take years to adjust for your body to adjust, depending on how much damage is done. You know, like myself, after years of chemotherapy and a lifetime of ridiculous nutrition, supplements and vegetarian diets and so on, growing up and so on. So, you know, um, I think whenever when people say like this is it, this is I think you can sort of like avoid those sort of people. They just get extreme. But these people always fail too. They always it's always the ones that are extreme in the like just for an example, carnivores are the same. The carnivore wasn't enough for them. They had to go lion diet, just beef and water. You know? And of course they're going to fail. So same with these breatharians. It's just nuts. Don't get me wrong though. Breath can make you feel pretty good without food. Like I've been through fasts. I've been through like 5-day fast before that. When I did feel hungry, using breath work actually reduced hunger and cravings because you activate your vagus nerve, right? When you get down into that ventral vagal state and that rest and digest, you also can eliminate cravings, okay? Or certainly limit them anyway. You can limit your cravings a lot more if you are in that ventral vagal state. So, like like some of those slow breathing techniques, or even some of the tumo breathing and prolonged breath holds, are very very good for cravings actually. But you can't just live on air as much as some people might think they can. Yeah, Dr. Pugh believes in breatharians. I want to believe it, but can't. Yeah, like I said, like I have limited cravings, and I have like after breath work, immediately after, I don't feel hungry for hours afterwards. Okay. Um, and some techniques, I won't like if I do like a very long breath work session. Sometimes, like if you do um, um, like some techniques will keep you breathing, like they can last from 2 to 5 hours, okay? Like just heavy, breath work. Um, but like I don't do anything that ridiculous, but I don't think you need to do that. But a breath work session can make you feel satisfied and certainly prolong fasting periods, okay? Like I said, because you get into that you activate the vagus nerve, that ventral vagal state, and you don't get those cravings and you don't get those hungers and so on and so on. But as far as yeah, I suppose Gandhi didn't eat for weeks at a time, so he was a bit of a breatharian, wasn't he, Gandhi? I think we need food. Yeah, I think we really do. Yeah. Um, yeah, you're bang on. If you go onto the Facebook page for that lion diet, it's ridiculous. The group members nearly always have it modified. Yeah, so it clearly isn't suitable to most as a standalone individual. Yeah, of course not. Yeah, you of all people. I mean, you're one of the best nutritionists out in the world. I think, Jonathan. I mean, you can't survive on just just one form of nutrition, just beef, like and water. They almost always they will always fail. Yeah. And the other thing too is that I think a lot of these people, they get cravings because they are so strict on themselves. They're so hard on themselves, and so like oh yeah, that's not carnivore sort of thing. That they're not regulating their nervous system. So when they get cravings, they are more likely to fail because they are always in that hyper awareness of it has to be carnivore, has to be carnivore. So they're always in that like sympathetic nervous state, and I think that's their biggest problem. They're always in that sympathetic nervous state rather than being a little bit easier, getting proper nutrition, like mixes of fats and so on and so on, like we always do, but also regulating their nervous system to avoid cravings and so on. Yeah, so they always fail. It's always lying there, and butter or something. Yeah, a bit. Yeah, that's right. It is a bit misleading, isn't it? You want to say, yeah, lion diet, just lion diet, and then they tell you that they eat like a stick of butter a day or something. It's like, that's a lot of butter. What the hell? A stick of butter a day. Crazy. Yeah, believes he believes we should eat fruit if we crave sweet things. But we'll say it's all man-made. What do you think about this? Yeah, well, yeah, the fruits are pretty much man-made, aren't they? They are, look at the bananas today, and not what they should be. None of the fruits today are what they should be. Yeah, I don't think we need fruits. I don't eat any fruits now. I mean, I used to love fruit. I used to. But I don't eat any of it at all. I don't think we need any of that at all. Not one single gram. Again, like breath work helps me to regulate my nervous system, my cravings as well. I don't get those cravings anymore. It's the same with Salad Boy. He promotes fruits as a source of electrolytes. What freaking electrolytes? If any, I mean, they actually inhibit your electrolyte uptake. So, if anything, you're just getting rid of your electrolytes, right? So, I don't agree with that at all. I don't think you need. There's no. People say, well, if you crave something sweet, eat fruits because it's natural, right? Or even if they're man-made, like it's healthy carbs, right? But you know better than anyone, Jonathan. Like there's okay, so like some carbs, like ultra processed carbs, it's okay. So you might avoid things like food colorings and the artificial sweeteners and soy products and stuff like that. So in that respect, maybe a little bit healthier, but still carbs, isn't it? It's still sugar. So screw that. Hello, Laney. How you doing? Good. Nice of you to joining. Actually, Lenny, if you want to join chat, the link's at the top there. You're welcome to join. Love to hear how you're going. Yeah, I have maybe one apple in the form of an apple crumble. Yeah, why not? I mean, if you're gonna, I think, look, if you want to eat something sweet, just eat it, right? Just don't do it every day or every meal, right? Like if you want to eat ice cream, well, just do it. If you want to eat chocolate, or just do it. Just don't do it all the time. I had maybe one apple in the form of apple crumble a few times per year. Yeah, so like, why not? Other than that, no honey, no fruit, nada. Yeah, I'm the same. Especially honey. Like even if you get a pure, clean honey, which is really hard to get by these days, it's 40% fructose. You know what that's doing to your liver, right? Yeah, it smells odd to me nowadays. Yeah, it does smell a bit odd actually now. Also, excuse my electrolyte balance. Exactly. Yeah, with insulin. Yeah, exactly. It ruins your electrolytes, uptake and so on. So yeah. Hey, Lenny, George, do you see my be coming to? Yes, I might be. Yes, I might be. Actually, it'd be good to catch up with George and Lenny if you are going to be there. If I get over there. Hello, Lenny, George. Off shopping in a bit. That's all right. Well, it's good to hear that you're, being able to go out and do some shopping and stuff. So that's good. Have you met Cheesecake? Have you met Cheesecake? Hang on a second. I'm just going to change camera, guys. Because I had a bit of a chat before with someone, so I had to. My battery ran out. Okay, cool. Let's charge that up. All right. So, have you met Cheesecake? Yeah. Well, again, especially like cheesecakes here are very different. They're very sweet in Australia. I can't stand them actually, but like Jonathan said, like he has maybe once or twice a year a bit of apple crumble. If that's the extent of your fruit, then yeah. But anything else like during normal routine, I don't eat any of that stuff at all anymore. And like I said, like when it comes to dealing with cravings and people who said, like, for example, some people will say that they can't sleep properly at night on the carnivore diet. I mean, it depends on what their version of the carnivore diet is actually like, because there's so many people doing different crazy things that whatever. But again, like they're just giving into their sugar addictions, their cravings, and so on. If you learn to regulate your nervous system and get down into that ventral vagal state, you can actually get rid of those cravings a little bit easier. It certainly works for me anyway. I was a carb addict myself, but breath work really helps with that. So, Joy's going to join. Oh, cool. Be good to see you, buddy. Hello. Let's see. Jeannie, as in there is no just having a bit of cheesecake. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, like this is the thing too. Like if for me it was always like cookies. Cookies are a big thing for me. Like I like cookies, or ice cream. But if I buy like say a liter of ice cream, if I know it's there, if I know it's in the fridge, then I'm always thinking about it, right? And I won't sort of get into that, the ice cream's there sort of thing until it's all gone. And I feel much more relaxed once it's gone, So it's like there's no just take a couple of scoops sort of thing. You have to eat the whole damn thing, right? So in that I can't moderate like that. I'm not very good at that sort of. My wife's she's fantastic at moderating. Like she could buy a packet of cookies and eat just one a day. I couldn't do that. If I buy a packet of cookies, I'll eat the whole packet that day in one day. Right. So I just don't do it. And I manage cravings. Not that I get much anymore, actually, but I manage cravings with breath work. And I find that especially like if I can't sleep, if I have trouble sleeping, again, breathwork, helps me with that too, because it's really about. So there's a number of reasons why people can't sleep, right? And I think when it comes to cravings, things like that, cravings, you're overthinking. You're in that sympathetic nervous state, and you need to get down into that vagal nervous state. You need to be more relaxed. But you also get when people are mouth breathing, for example, when they're sleeping with their mouth open and they're breathing through their mouth, you get what you get. You blow off too much CO2, okay, and then you get cortisol spikes, all right, and that. Well, so you get like 3 a.m. sort of wake ups, or around that sort of period or time, and that'll wake you up, right? And then it'd be really difficult for you to get back to sleep. And it's not always just mouth breathing either. It's like if you are breathing too much, even if you're breathing through your nose, if you're breathing too fast, you will still get that elevated sympathetic nervous state. Okay, your heart rate will elevate, your cortisol will spike, and you'll get that 3 a.m. wake up sort of thing. All right, the same thing. So, yeah. I make a mean carnivore cheesecake. All right, raw eggs, casein, butter, salt, vanilla protein. That sounds all right. Not for most people, but it helps me get the food down. Yeah, eating enormous amounts of at the moment. Yeah, well, this is the thing. I mean, especially for if when you are doing sports, any kind of sports, you eat a lot of food, a lot of food. George, how you doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks, DC. Is my audio okay?
Yeah, mate, can hear you good.
Brilliant. Okay, yeah, we've just Laney's going to go shopping in a minute. We've just come back from the first shopping trip of the day and found that you're on, so I thought I'd pop in and say hello. I haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, it's good to see you, my man.
Yeah, it's been. I mean, we've bumped into each other on a couple of other lives when we've both been guests, but it's been a while since we actually did an interview. I think it's probably about time we did another one, to be honest with you, Dave. So.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, actually. Not a bad idea. Yeah.
Because my life is, I think we did one probably maybe at the beginning of last year, but my life has changed quite a lot since then. So a lot of updates to bring you up to date with.
Yeah, for sure.
We got some good people in the chat. I see we got Jeannie, Josephine, and
we've always got good people in the chat,
and Jonathan as well. So it's great. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, Jonathan is just saying he makes a mean carnivore cheesecake, so people might want to take recipe here.
Yeah, that's true.
Eating enormous amounts at the moment. Yeah, like Jonathan, bodybuilder for one. He's trying to get bigger, always trying to get bigger, always trying to grow. So they're always eating an enormous amount of food by comparison to other people. But when you go carnivore though too, people don't realize how much food it takes for you to actually eat and heal your body, does it? Do they?
Exactly. Yeah, you're very true.
It's one of the things. It's one of the reasons why they fail too, is because they simply do not eat enough food.
It's not only eating enough food, but it's you've got to break the habit of buying lean meat. You've got to aim for the fattiest meat you possibly can. I've just come back from a shopping trip to Aldi, where they've got their rump steak, their 232-gram rump steak, which is about 8 ounces, I think, and they're selling them at £4.05 English today, which I think is $8 Australian, which is not bad. And I picked through all the selection there, and I found the three with the biggest band of fat on them. So I'm probably one of the very few. Well, no, not one of the very few people in the world, but as carnivores, we always make sure we look for the fattiest meat rather than the lean meat.
Exactly.
Because as I think you told me in the past, Dave, that you were fat phobic, and I've never been fat phobic, but I've known plenty of people who have been. And it doesn't end well, to be honest with you.
No, it doesn't. No, I can attest to that. But actually, my favorite is probably the chuck steak. Actually, it's kind of like the poor man's ribeye,
Yeah, I've heard a lot about chuck steak recently. We don't tend to see it very much over here, but certainly in the States you do, and in Australia as well. Our standard three steaks that you can buy in the supermarkets are ribeye, sirloin, and rump. Ribeye being the most expensive of the three, then sirloin, and then rump. So ribeye tends to be a sort of special occasion. Lainey absolutely swears by ribeye. In fact, she bought herself a ribeye this morning.
That's good.
Exactly. But we have the market traders over here. And they drive around in big trucks and they sell out the back of the truck. So we have on a Friday we have one in the town centre, and on Saturday we have one in the cattle market just outside of town. yesterday, Lainey went up to this is a good story actually. Lainey went up to the market trader in town because I was working, and she bought a load of ribeye and rump because they didn't have any sirloin. But she was having a chat with the assistant, and he was a big fat lad, and there she is. Hang on a second, I'll just.
Good to see you, Lainey. Can't hear you, mate. No.
Yeah, when I took the headphones out, I actually muted the mic, so that's the reason why. Yeah, so I was just telling Dave, Lainey, that yesterday you went at the market stall. Do you want to tell the story, or shall I?
I got had again. It's so easy to buy so much stuff because they go, "Oh, what do you want?" And you tell them, and they go, "Well, I'll check this on, and I'll check this on," and you end up coming away spending a fortune. Yeah, but yeah, they didn't have any sirloin, so I got,
ribeye
and rump, and it was about 4.5 kilos for 80 quid.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah, but that's about $100 US dollars and about 160 Australian dollars.
Yeah,
and it's
about that.
Yeah, so it's really good.
No,
but
it's probably more than that.
Yeah, but Lainey, Lainey, tell the story about the assistant who spoke to you.
He wants to be a carnivore.
So good.
I normally stay very quiet when George is doing this at people, but he wasn't there. So I said to him, "Oh, I want this and that," and he went, "Are you the guy's wife that only eats meat?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "I've been looking into that," and he genuinely had, because he said beef, eggs, salt. So I thought, "Oh, he is serious." So I was like, I got stuck in a conversation with him for ages, and then left because I'll get George's card and give it to you. So yeah, he said he wants to lose sort of about 4 stone. And he was very shocked when I said that George had lost 9 stone.
Yeah, 4 stone is 56 pounds.
So so I had my carnivore chat with somebody yesterday.
Oh, very good.
she did her bit for the community to spread the word.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, I've got to go shopping. So it's lovely to see you.
We'll have a good shop then.
Yeah, when you do your proper chat with George, I'll join him.
No worries.
Now there's a promise. Lainey doesn't always do interviews, but she has done a couple recently. So yeah, that'd be great. Bye, Lainey. Right, I'm going to go back to headphones because it's more comfortable for me. Hang on, bear with me a sec, Dave.
No worries, mate. So Lainey said that certain sweets she cannot control herself. So what sweets are they? Oh, sorry.
Who's that? Sorry. Yeah, that's Alicia, or she's also known as Mason.
Alicia, is it?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's there's always those triggers, like we all have those certain triggers, What was your favorite junk food, George?
My favorite junk foods, I suppose it was when I was growing up, it was always the candy, the chocolate, the sweeties, and the chocolate cookies. More in recent years, it was very much the Walker's crisps here in the UK, which I think are known as Lay's chips over in the States. They were very much my downfall. And well, I mean, my problem was I just did not understand about carbohydrates. So I was a great fan of spaghetti bolognese, chili con carne, all rice and curry. And I used to fill up on bread, sandwiches. So I used to take sandwiches to work all the time, egg sandwiches, ham sandwiches. But it was, I thought that the bread was filling me up cheaply. And of course, what happened to me is I rapidly became 293 pounds. And it was only when a very kind nurse told me that all carbs are sugar, when I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and morbid obesity, that I was able to go away, totally change my mindset, rethink my entire approach towards nutrition, and very rapidly got myself out of type 2 diabetes and dropped from 293 pounds to a low of 168 pounds in May of last year. This morning I weighed in at 175, so I'm 7 pounds up from my lowest weight, but that's no problem, especially at this time of the year, because it is very cold and very wintry over here. So yeah, it's just been an amazing journey, an absolutely miraculous journey.
Wow, you're lighter than I am.
Yeah, I'm actually back to my, when I was at 168 pounds, I was back to my 17-year-old weight. I'm 60 now. I'm now up to my sort of 18, I put 7 pounds back on, so I'm up to my 18, 19-year-old weight, but I'm still in my weight wise, I'm still in my teens. So at the age of 60, which is
so good then.
Going, yeah.
But you're only as young as the scales tell you, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the only sort of giveaway is the fact that, like yourself, I am follically challenged up top. I do have an inguinal hernia.
I sort of grew too fast for my hair, you know. So
yeah. I do have an inguinal hernia, which is a friend for life until I get it fixed, which I'm waiting for. But that I put down to the fiber and the constipation and the straining on the toilet. And the other thing is, I told you in the past, DC, my knees are, I think that's damage done. They've recovered quite a lot, but not to the point where I can run anymore. But I can walk for long periods of time, and I can walk up hills with rucksacks on my back. But instead of walking at 5 miles an hour now, I'm restricted to 3 miles an hour. But even so, no, just getting out for a 6 mile walk at 3 miles an hour, 2 hours. Yeah, exactly. It's really good. I went for a fabulous walk on New Year's Eve with my carnivore friend Ziggy, who lives 17 miles away from me. So we met up halfway, and we did a fantastic 6 mile walk. We went before the sunrise, so we actually got the sunrise in our eyes that morning, which was good. As you know, I think you're a friend of Sarah Pugh. She's a great believer in the I can't remember what it is now. Yes, that's right, exactly. So yeah, it was fabulous. It was very frosty, very cold, and it was a clear sky. It was one of those great to be alive mornings. So to be out in the English countryside with my great friend Ziggy and getting the sun in the eyes, it was a very memorable way to end the old year, because it was New Year's Eve. So what a really good experience.
Therapy.
Yeah, exactly. Everything. And
very good.
And Ziggy had a great conversation.
Like, a lot of the stuff that we do, like the stuff that I talk about, it's not a big time commitment. You can do these things all at once, you know. Like after I've finished my ice bath, I go sit out in the grass and get the morning sun. I'm grounded. I'm getting sunlight and doing my breath work. That all these wonderful things happen all at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm quite lucky because I work in construction, and we have very long days. And I am, I actually open up site way an hour before sunrise, so I get to see. And I work mostly outside because I'm operating a gate. So I do actually get to see sunrise, such as we get in England every day, which is which is good. I mean, as we get into the summer, I won't, because obviously the sunrise will then be 5 o'clock, and I won't start work till 6 or 7. But at the moment, I'm getting the full benefits. But one thing I will point out is the fact that I used to be an athlete in my childhood, an ultra athlete. I actually had a world record to my name at one time, or a team effort world record for endurance, carrying a stretcher for I think 145 miles without actually it touching the ground. There was 8 of us that did it, and we interchanged. And I've been to the Himalayas. I've climbed to the top of Kala Pattar at 18,500 feet, and had a way you can see the top of Everest from. So I've done a lot in my time, but now, and then it all went wrong. Since I've come back, I've done what you might call gym work or cardio. I can't run anymore, but I live an active lifestyle. But I've lost, I've lost all this inflammation and fat without actually trying from a physical point of view, just living my normal life. So it just goes to prove that the gym is not, if you're talking purely about weight, the gym is not essential. It is the nutrition. Obviously, if you're talking about optimal fitness, like Jonathan and yourself, and you actually wanted to go down the gym, it's important to do that. But I am a classic example of somebody who lives just a day-to-day active lifestyle.
That's exactly right. Like for average people, like it's the average population, it's really just about movement. We are built to move, right? And like you are moving every day, so it's not like you have to go and do a specific sport. But this is one of the reasons why Japanese are not so morbidly obese yet. I mean, they are on their way, but they are very active. generally speaking, because they walk a lot, they do a lot of stairs and all sort of incidental sort of exercise,
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what it's really about. It's about
the
movement. So you can see, I mean, from your example, like you can see that if you are eating the right food, it doesn't matter how much you eat, you'll still lose weight.
Yeah. And there's another thing I want to talk about, and that's mental health, because my mental health has improved massively since going carnivore. But I'm now, along with several other people from from the Kilts Health Organization, we're doing a lion diet this January. So this is 10 days online for me, although I will put in a little caveat here. I'm not true lion because I'm still maintaining the coffee, but the coffee is the only thing I've added in apart from the ruminant meat, salt and water. And I don't know what it is, but I'm in a state of carnivore euphoria at the moment. Everything just seems absolutely wonderful, even more so than when I was on ordinary carnivore. I was talking to Dr. Kilts and the team yesterday on their 11 o'clock live, or 6 a.m. their time live. And I actually flagged up. I said, I've discovered a new medical condition associated with lion diet. It's IHS, which is irritatingly happy syndrome, because I am irritatingly happy for everybody else all the time now. Alia found it hilarious and flagged it up, and she laughed, and so did Dr. Kilts, because I am. Other people find, when other people are sort of, oh, it's cold, it's miserable, and it's January, and we spent too much at Christmas. I'm going, isn't life wonderful? I'm everything just seems like a blessing.
Do you think though it was the diet change, or the fact that you have a new goal, you're doing this with a new community, you have a new goal?
No, not really, because I think you're probably aware of the fact that I took a 4 month sabbatical away from work after I got my army pension last autumn, and my goal then was to join the American community, because I felt that we weren't close enough. The USA and the UK community weren't close enough. So I spent 4 months joining the USA community. So I changed my body clock round and everything. And I've now become great friends with Dr. Kilts. Kerry, I'm working very closely with Kerry. He has appointed me as his UK ambassador to Healing Humanity. So no, not really, because basically I achieved everything I wanted to last year. But just since going lion in January, I've noticed that my mental health has taken another great leap forward, which is a strange time of the year for it to happen, because January is the month in this country of the blues, because the weather is terrible. Everybody spent too much for Christmas. We haven't really got much to look forward to in January. So why am I suddenly grinning like an idiot all the time? Because I just feel so happy all the time now, DC. I am just incredibly happy about everything. Lainey is carnivore now, and her mindset is, you just saw her, she's happy again now. As you know, she is undergoing a very serious cancer problem, but she's got her energy back through carnivore. She's got her mindset back through carnivore. She's now going out and doing things by herself without me, because for 3 years when she lost all her hair to chemo, when she lost all that weight and became, she didn't want to go outside at all, and she's losing her teeth to.
I was the same. I didn't want to leave the bed.
Yeah, but suddenly, again, just in the last few months, or just this year, she said she made a New Year's resolution. This is going to be my year. This is the year when I find my feet again. So now she's going out and doing things with her friends without me, and she's got her life back, basically. So her mental health is much improved as well. Of course, that's helped my mental health quite a lot. So we have an amazing story, as you know, DC, and I don't know if your viewers know, but I always credit DC, because DC has been on this journey with us for now ever since really Lainey started on this journey, and Dave has been incredibly helpful to us. We've swapped information and everything else. So Dave is well aware of Lainey's journey. And it's just been, it is, well, I won't call it miraculous, but it's, when you consider a lot of people who are in Lainey's situation with a really nasty breast cancer, which is a dangerous one associated with Paget's disease, then most people will be lying in bed feeling sorry for themselves, feeling the effects of the medication. But because of Carnival, Lainey's up. Well, you just saw her. She's up and about. She's going shopping. She's happy. So it's
fantastic.
it's incredible. It really is.
Yeah, that's why I keep telling you, man. It's amazing how resilient your body can be. You know, that's why I give a big thanks to Jonathan. He's just gifted 5 memberships to people. So thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's great, Jonathan. Jonathan and I. One thing I did notice when I joined the USA community, very few Brits actually do go on their lives and in the chat and that sort of thing, apart from Jonathan. So wherever I go now in the USA, I nearly always find Jonathan there as well. So that's absolutely great that he has made the effort to go truly international. As you know, he's on here with you now, as I am. So yeah, I think me and
Jonathan's great. I mean, and again, like this is something I like to stress to people too. Is like Jonathan's actually one of the best nutritionists out there. Like if you have,
totally agree. Yeah,
like in the world at the moment, like him and like Richard Smith, you know, they're both of them are just any questions that you want answered when it comes to nutrition, and
exactly.
You don't need to go past those two.
I kind of think of Richard, Jonathan, and Stephen Thomas as the 3 musketeers when it comes to nutrition, and they are my go-to people when it comes to nutrition. I'm very much. I'm not really sort of into the nutrition. I know what works for me. I'm much more into the history. As you know, you and I did some fabulous work together on the Sugar Research Foundation. Dr. Christine Kearns. It was, so that's more my bag, if you know what I mean. But you know, I don't really count macros so much. I just eat the fattiest meat I can. I don't do electrolytes. I did have a problem with night cramps back along, and I was considering a magnesium supplement, but instead I simply upped the salt. I probably trebled the salt, and then the night cramps went away. So I don't do electrolytes, don't do supplements. And I don't really count ratios of protein to fat. I just know what works for me, and it has worked. So again, talking to the audience, you can either take the route of really going down like Jonathan and getting your head really around the nutrition, or you can follow me and just think, yeah, it works for me. And so you don't need to.
Well, I think a lot of it is being intuitive, you know, like I mean, I'm very much interested in the mechanisms of how the body works, but when it comes to, I mean, actually picking meat out and things like that, like it's very difficult to overeat fat. Like you just don't feel like you get to a point where you just don't want to keep on eating it, and that's your body is already you just intuitively know, like your body just okay, that's enough fat for today, sort of thing, you know. I don't get these people that, you know, they grab, you know, lean meats and stuff like that and then just eat a stick of butter. Sort of, I couldn't eat a stick of butter in a day, sort of thing. You know, I don't get that, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But Dr. Berry and Dr. Anthony Chafee both have good takes on this. Dr. Berry always says, "Eat until you can't be stuffed," and then Dr. Chafee says, "Eat until it doesn't taste good anymore." He said, "You'll know when you've had enough because you just wait. It will start tasting bad to you." So that was it will start making you feeling slightly nauseous, and so that's a very good rule of thumb. Don't measure what you're eating. Let your body measure what you're eating, and eat until you don't really want anymore. That's what. If you ever watch a pride of lions on a kill, that's what they do. They will go in there and eat and eat and eat, and then one by one you will see them leave and go. Exactly.
Exactly. And I mean, there are different things that work for different people too. Like you're talking about electrolytes, for example, and salt. You know, I've always said that, you know, the only thing you need is a good salt. That's all I've ever used myself. I've never supplemented especially with electrolytes, but I use I use quite a lot of salt for different things. Like I cook with a lot of salt. I put salt on my food. I put salt in my water because I filter my water stringently, and then I remineralize with a good salt. But my ice bath is also filled with sea salt as well, so I'm actually absorbing quite a lot of salt. So you know, people shouldn't be afraid of salt. You know?
Yeah, it's true. Quick word on salt. Lainey and myself have become real salt snobs nowadays. The days of the cheap cooking table salt have long since gone. It's now I've been using the pink Himalayan salt recently and the white sea salt, but Lainey has recently discovered online, I think, a Celtic sea salt, hand harvested Celtic sea salt, which she has bought, and now she is raving about it. She says she can taste the difference.
That's what I use. The thing that Himalayan stuff that actually comes from Pakistan, they use dynamite to actually.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, and then you get that sort of stuff. I use a pink river salt that's actually hand harvested here, and it actually comes in flakes, so it's less processed.
Yeah, exactly. What Lainey has just bought is in flakes. Salt. Yeah. So Lainey has just bought the flaky version of the salt, and she is upped her salt incredibly because of it. Because she says that she can not only taste the difference, but the flavor is really enhances. Because Lainey eats beef and eggs. That's her go-to meal every day. And now she didn't used to use salt at all or hardly, but now she's covering her eggs, and which she puts on top of the beef. She's covering them in salt before she's eating it. So yeah, it's been great.
Excellent.
So there we go. Yeah, and Jonathan's been talking about some of the characters here in the UK, and he mentioned Phil Escott, who I don't know Phil personally, but he's great. He organises the ancestral.
I've seen a couple of things. He did something with Abs recently, Dr. Abs.
And also he organises the Spanish retreat every year, which our great friend Stephanie went to. Stephanie, who is a stage 4 ovarian cancer sufferer, she went to the Spanish one. And in August, he does the Ancestral Health Festival up in the northwest of England. So, cool. Phil's great. And Jonathan says that I would probably get on well with him. I think I probably would. He and I are a bit more less involved in the scientific side of things. Yeah, but a quick word on Stephen. Stephen Thomas, Jonathan said he's really sort of upped his game recently. And he appears to be spreading his wings a bit. Because I think we're all associated. We all associated
a school community.
He did, but even more so than that, we've all come to associate him as kind of a tag team with Richard. But I've noticed just recently he's really he's doing a weekly with Dave Mack. He's doing he and Bart appear to be very close together. They're doing a lot of Q&As. On Thursday, he did a live with Stephanie Taylor, and publicly said, "This has been really good, Stephanie. We should do it once a month." So Stephanie agreed. So there's another tag team formed, and I think it was on the same day actually. Immediately afterwards, he went on with Jonathan, and they had they did a great live. And Stephen took the opportunity and said, "Jonathan, this has been really good. We must take the opportunity to do this more." So basically, I think Stephen is not. I don't know whether he's breaking away from Richard, but he's certainly spreading his wings a bit and pulling in more members of the community to do Q&As with, which is great because Lainey is absolutely raves about Stephen. She says he has the most calming, relaxing, sensible voice in the world. And I didn't know about know about the Q&A between Stephen and Jonathan because it was while I was driving home from work. But I walked through the door, and I could hear voices coming from the kitchen. I thought, what's going on? And it was, in fact, Jonathan's voice I could hear because Lainey was watching it off her own back, which is really good. So big up to Steve, Stephen because he's really pushing forward, and it's been great.
He's a brilliant guy too. He really knows his stuff. DC George told us about your story one night. Wonderful testimony. If George says look him up, we do. Good for you.
That was. I can tell you what that was about. Yeah, I can tell you that story, DC, because I was on the live with Grandma's Crochet Corner, Barbara over in Ohio, and I told her your story about, and I sent her your very first 13-minute video when you told the story of the earthquake and your stage 4, and she got hold of that. She watched it and she was very taken with it, and she, as you know, immediately that same day wrote your song for you, which she asked me to send to you, which I did. So it was that was very nice.
It was very touching, actually.
Yeah, Barbara's amazing. She just churns out music, which obviously she's cracked AI. If you go onto her channel, Grandma's Crochet Corner, and go into her playlists, She's got about 90 songs on there, many of which are dedicated to us. One of which is to you, DC. Kerry's got his own. Various other people. I helped Barbara write one, which was about being grateful for every sunrise, for every new dawn.
Yeah,
it's called Another Dawn. So I've got one dedicated to me as well, which is I used to listen every morning to "Morning Has Broken" by Cat Stevens as my gratitude song for waking up to another day. Now I listen to my own song, which is Another Dawn. So yeah, that's fabulous.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, she also wrote "Healing Humanity," which is a really upbeat song as well, which I introduced to Kerry. And Kerry said the other night, I was doing my role of ambassador to him on Healing Humanity, and he said that basically he was so grateful for me for introducing him to Barbara and the song, that he said Barbara is a massive inspiration to me. So that's a pretty high accolade from, in my opinion, the most inspirational, most enthusiastic man in the world. So yeah, that was great. We're getting there, DC. The community is really coming together now. I have set up an international cooperation group, which includes Alia Wells from the KMT, a couple of other American people, including the great Angela Lero. Do you know Angela?
No, I don't know.
From LA? No, she is. She basically gets everywhere. She has a great story. She lost a breast mastectomy when she was 28. She had Lyme disease, long-term Lyme disease, and but she's 40 now, and she's really pulled it back. And she's like a real warrior, a real Amazon princess in our world. She's on Facebook. She's under the name of Angela Christine on Facebook. So I know you're on Facebook because I've got you, DC. So if you want to go and look up Angela Christine, she's bound to accept you because you will know who you are, and she's absolutely fabulous. She's coming over for the Great British Meetup. She's great friends with Kerry and Dr. Kiltz. And then we've got the usual suspects from the UK. Jonathan's not on there at the moment, but we have got Lee Copus and all the meetup committee.
Right?
Yeah, we got Stephanie Taylor, Lauren Tucker, who's is part of Healing Humanity, Carl Day of the Primal Lifestyle. So we've got a very good committee, and we're getting ready for the June the 13th event next year. We're going back to the same places we went to this year, and it won't be long before we get the tickets on sale. So we're very much looking forward to it. I've got half of America coming over. I've got Angela coming over. I've got Dr. Kiltz, Coach Juliet Edens, who's got her own channel, and her husband Doug.
Yeah, I know Juliet. Yeah, she's great.
Absolutely. Mark Caldwell from Atlanta, Georgia, who came over last year, and Ali is talking about coming over with her family, Cesar as well, and Dr. Nelson is thinking about it. So yeah, we're going to have a few of our American friends over. It's just great that the world is coming together now. As you know, I went to Wyoming last year. Myself and Lainey will be going back to America.
What do you think about these? Like everyone's talking about these new dietary guidelines that came out of America.
They're a step in the right direction, aren't they? Because they've turned the bloody pyramid upside down. And it's, so the first thing which appears in the top left-hand corner is red meat.
But did you read it though?
I haven't read it all. No, go on.
Okay. It's actually very much the same as it was. Actually, it's like 10% saturated fat. They're just, I mean, they're not quite demonizing red meat as much,
right?
But nothing's actually changed. I think the hype about it though is BS. Is what I think it is. It's like the point is, when it comes to the dietary guidelines, they're all owned by institutions like Sanitarian Group and Kellogg's and so on, right? And they own education in nutrition. So the Dietetics Association, nutrition and universities, all these universities and colleges and so on, when they say they tell you that, okay, doctors are going to have to start studying nutrition and all this sort of stuff, this is where they're going to learn it from. They're going to learn it from the Dietetics Association. They're going to learn it from the universities and so on, which is all owned by these corporations. So nothing has changed in the dietary guidelines at all. If you read the guidelines, it's pretty much exactly the same.
Okay.
They just turn the picture a little bit. That's all. And you know, even if they do change them, the problem is, are you going to get these institutions to adopt that new food pyramid anyway? Because it's all owned by these corporations anyway. So I think it's going to be decades before we see real change. You know?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly where the quote came from, but one of the quotes which really got to me last year or sometime was one of the people who fund the research, the scientific research, said, we own the science. Exactly. How can you own science? Because science is something which is basically natural, isn't it? But it just goes to prove that science is in fact bought and paid for, and the results that you get are the ones that are bought and paid for.
It's the same with like the dietary guidelines in the UK, and they came out with that plate thing last year. Every one of these doctors that are on the committee for their dietary guidelines were bought and paid for. Every one of them had conflict of interest with corporations.
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
The same. It's pretty much the same. It's like here there were 12. One actually really good guy was on the committee until they actually booted him because he was pro meat. But yeah, they've been looking at the dietary guidelines here for the last couple of years, and again, like 9 out of 12 of them all have conflict of interest with corporations.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. Like, if you want to, it's one thing to change the dietary guidelines and to insist that doctors get education, but the problem is the institutions that will be teaching this is owned by the same corporations.
Yeah.
So
and again, I think another problem that we have is that the politicians can say one thing, but the politicians don't have any power. Not really. They are like a voice in the wilderness, because big power is in the hands of the three things: big food, big pharma, and the mainstream media. Now, big food, obviously, big food poisons us. Big pharma manages those symptoms, and mainstream media gets its funding from big pharma and big food. Because when adverts come on, or messages come on television now, commercial messages come on television nowadays, as a carnivore, I watch them with interest, and roughly 50% of them all are either advertising carbohydrates or pharmaceuticals in the form of chocolate, McDonald's, KFC, GlaxoSmithKline,
junk food and meds.
Exactly, yeah. The carbohydrates and meds, sugars and meds. The rest, a lot of them are, the cosmetic industry, quite big on that.
And then
so
insurance.
It's true. Yeah. So mainstream media, who are the influencers of the world opinion, are basically beholden to. They are dependent upon big food and big pharma. So those are and politicians can say what they want, but those three they have no power over those three organizations. So nothing is going to change very shortly.
No, that's
right. I remember my late father always used to say about voting. He said, George, it doesn't matter who you vote for, the government always gets in. And what he meant by that was, it doesn't matter what party you support or what political alignment you have. When these people actually get into power, they simply follow the governance doesn't change. Very small tweaks, and that's it. And it's absolutely right, because here in the UK, the government can change every 4 to 5 years, but the civil service, the people who run the government, they don't change. So they have a set course, and it's very difficult to actually change.
It's right. Like, you can't lose when you own both teams.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now I'm very, very anti-establishment. I'm very anti-system. So I have taken an oath never ever to use my vote again, because I just feel I'm encouraging a system which is wrong. Now, this is very controversial on account of the fact that there is one particular man I would like to see.
Stalin himself said it doesn't matter who, how many people or who the people vote for. What matters is who's doing the counting.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yes. So I shall never use.
When you own the media, the people don't know. The people just just take whatever the media tells them and says, yeah, okay, so they're our new government, right? So
yeah, I mean, to my mind, democracy is an absolute illusion, because they hold the powers that be in the West hold the spectre of China and North Korea, and aren't we lucky that we don't live like that? But there's no power of free speech in this country. Yeah, there is no power of free speech in this country. And also, one thing which horrifies me, horrifies me,
the lucky country.
Yeah, one thing which horrifies me about Australia, I understand that it is actually illegal not to vote in Australia. Is that correct? Yeah, that's what I thought. We have the power of withdrawing our votes here and not using it. But how can you tell me that you live in a democracy when you are obliged to go and do something that you don't necessarily want to do legally
or believe in?
That's not democracy. That is dictatorship. If it was me in Australia, Dave, believe me, there would be some very, very bad language written on that on that voting slip. I tell them what I thought of them. But I believe that's
don't worry, that happens too. But then they just use the vote for whoever they want anyway.
Yeah.
So it makes no difference, But yeah, you're right. It's a complete dictatorship. But I mean, we have just as many political prisoners as any other country, and yet we sort of grow up with the propaganda here that we are the lucky country. There's always, like you said, like, aren't you lucky you don't live in North Korea or China or something like that?
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I lost a job in 2012 because I was working as a trade union representative, because the place was so awful. They treated everybody badly, and I realized that I could use my oratory skills to motivate people, and I could use my analytic skills, and I kept on winning battle after battle, because they were very easy to defeat, because their management was so stupid that they were easy. But they
none of these people are very smart. Like some of the people in government, like in your government and our government here, none of these people are smart. They're just placed in there by the powers that be.
Exactly. But the next thing I knew, I was suspended from work for speaking my mind, because I gave an interview to a trade union magazine, and they told me that I was in breach of contract. I fought them to a standstill, which took a great deal of that's the year which I lost to mental health. But I did fight them to a standstill. They couldn't sack me. So in the end, I left under mutual agreement, because it was being such a detriment to my health. But again, that was another classic case of where I exercised my right to free speech, and next thing I knew, I found myself out of a job. So please do not think that in the West we have the freedom of speech. We don't. We live in a dictatorship, which is more pernicious than North Korea. Because at least in North Korea they're honest about it.
At least they're honest about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Alicia Mason here was telling us, like, her sweetness weakness is the brownies and cookies. Yeah, I'm right there with you, mate. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, sorry, Jonathan, we're aware of the fact that you're putting up a lot of stuff, but obviously we're chatting away, but you're making some very good valid points there, everything which you're saying. So
sure, we'll go through some of these comments. Don't think they're here. They were lucky to get free membership. Oh yeah. Check out this members' videos. Lots of useful stuff. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks, Jonathan. I really appreciate that, my man. 293 pounds takes some real. Yeah, it does take some real work. I've only been 275.
It takes some real work.
Effort. It takes a big effort.
Yeah, lots and lots of carbohydrates and not doing much exercise, because I thought
you consider, like, you're what, 160 something.
175 this morning. I was down to 168 in the spring.
Okay, so it's quite a big difference. Almost getting close to double your weight there.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, no, actually, I can tell you, I actually did lose 42% of my body weight. So that's so almost half, but not quite. Yeah. The guy when they're talking about diabetes over here, you are recommended to lose 5% of your body weight. So yeah, I think I passed the 5% mark quite rapidly, actually.
Yeah, you're just sort of passing through it,
Yeah, exactly. That was week 1, I think. I lost 5% of mine.
Yeah.
Week 1 of going low carb, I lost 5% of my body weight.
Graham,
He is,
Graham,
South
are you
Africa,
still there,
Graham,
my man? Graham, good to see you, my man. I want to catch up and hear all about your hospital visit, my man. I hope you're well. I hope you're feeling much better. Let me see. Yeah, but lovely Jojo. How you doing, Jojo? Just popping in, mate. Oh, good on you. I try every day. Okay, see you, Graham. Thanks for dropping by, mate. I appreciate it. Bye. He does that, at the end of every video. Bye.
Yeah, I know Graham.
Josephine. Yeah.
Yeah, Josephine's. I think Josephine's a fellow Queenslander. I was asking about that the other day. I think it's Josephine. She's north of you, apparently, Dave.
Yes,
she's
I think
not
so.
Too far away from you. Yeah, Queensland seems to be carnivore central over in Australia. Because I also know Brad. I also know Brad and Joshua.
I'm not
Joshua's
sure.
Joshua's in Roma, and Brad is somewhere out in the. He's known as Terrorized on YouTube. He's out in the outback somewhere. And we got Josephine there as well, and we got yourself. So yeah, there's a strong representation
of us,
in Queensland.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where Jeannie is. Jeannie is running SAP. She's might be on here with us at the moment. I'm not sure.
She's just moved down to New South Wales actually recently.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
And of course, my other friend on Facebook from Oz is Larry Holt, the carnivore pensioner. I think he's. Okay. Yeah. Do you know Larry?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, again, he's very active on YouTube, the carnivore pensioner, and he's active on Facebook as well. So go and find him, Larry Holt. His name is. He was over in the UK.
He's one of my friends on Facebook.
Yeah, actually. I hope so, because he's a big organizer of meetups over in Oz, and he actually was over in the UK last June, and he organised a meetup in the UK as well in London. So he's a great organizer. Is our Larry. He's very passionate. So yeah, he's if anybody doesn't know Larry Holt, the carnivore pensioner, please go and find him.
Yeah, you can check him out. I'd like to check out his channel. I didn't know he had a channel.
Yeah.
Can handle stressful moments now. 80% better now. I don't break down anymore. I remember to stop and breathe. That's good, Josephine. Yeah. Breathing is, the fastest way to control your autonomic nervous system. The fastest way to consciously control or access your autonomic nervous system is to use breath. Okay. Very important.
Yeah, just a word on breath work. When I'm actually out walking nowadays, I do actually think of what you taught us, Dave, and I do the 4x4x4x4. Breathe in through the nose for 4, hold it for 4, out through the mouth for 4, and then relax for 4, and then start the process again. So I use your 4x4 methods, and it does. I don't remember to do it all the time, but when I do, it definitely does help. There's no question.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, it just takes practice, and just being consciously aware of that, like you're already sort of training your nervous system as well. So that's a good thing. There's a number of ways you can do it. Try extending it next time instead of doing like 4x4, go 5x5 sort of thing.
Yeah.
You can try extending it. George and I always meet up online, albeit in different time space.
Yeah, that's we're in the USA together. Jonathan actually lives an hour and a half from me by car here in the UK. He's just a bit south of me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I might be over your way next year, sometime this year. I'm not sure
brilliant.
yet.
Well, if you can come over in June, you can come to the Great British Meetup with all of our American friends as well, and all of our UK friends. Yeah, June the 13th we are, Dave. So.
Rich, Stephen, and I do a lot of readings. Yeah. Stephen was already good, but he's made leaps in the last few months. Yeah, he makes complex things for lay people simple. Yeah, he's very good at explaining things. I think Stephen has, like Lainey said, like his voice, the way he speaks, he's very calm, and he has a very good way of explaining things very simply without getting excited or anything. Like he's just very sort of mellow,
Yeah, he is very much so.
George and Phil Scott have a fair bit in common. That would make a good collaboration. Yeah, Phil's
yes,
got a very.
That's interesting because I think Phil is probably about the one. Phil and Dr. Abs are the two people maybe in this country that I do not know personally. I've never met them personally. I know Richard and Stephen and Jonathan, but I've never actually met either Phil or Dr. Abs personally. So hopefully we'll put that right this year at some stage.
Yeah, I'm hoping to meet Abs soon. Actually, he's coming to Australia next month. So
great. Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's going to be up this way yet, but it'd be good to catch up with him because he's really good. I'm off. Okay, so thank you, Josephine. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. I'm into Celtic sea salt, yeah, and Malden. I'm not sure what Malden is, but
yeah, it's a name you hear in the salt world occasionally.
Yeah. It's a DOP, meaning it's extracted in a specific way, yeah, in a specific region.
Yeah, I know what DOP means. Yeah, Jonathan's talking about the Phil's events, one in Spain, one up north.
Oh yeah. It's really difficult for Jonathan to travel places like that. So long distance travel, quite painful. Yeah. So you can imagine it's not going to be very easy for him to get to places like that. You might not remember, but I started the Carnivore Team GB a couple of years ago.
No, yeah, Jonathan. Yeah, I don't remember that one, but one thing I do remember very, very fondly is DC's the Aussie Carnivore connection. That was fun. That was great fun. Yeah. It was you had some great people like Dave Mack and Anthony Facey and people like that. It was I always used to look forward to that because I was at work at the time, but I always used to have it on in the background, and it was all the questions. I used to actually be able to answer a lot of the Aussie questions actually, such as like who is this band, Mental as Anything. And it was always great fun. It really was. But
it was good fun.
I guess it ran its course, Dave. But there we go. These things do.
Yeah. Well, I guess all the others decide they want to do other things and move on. So that's all right.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do about that. It's all good. My first contest of the season is on the day after the GBMU.
Great British meetup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good, Jonathan, because you are keynote speaker this year. So yeah, we've kind of put a hole in the schedule.
Postpone it for a bit. One positive is that we can counter arguments against red meat, explaining it is now a proposed staple. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Now that they're trying to, it's the thing too. They can only do these things in small increments. They can't, like, if they just decided, okay, we're going to change all of education, we're going to change, the pyramid completely. It just wouldn't happen. There would be too much change, too fast, and it would take. It's just going to take a long time to sort of, especially the institutions that are teaching that nutrition these days. Hello there. You're back.
Laney's just back from shopping. Yes, actually, a bit surprised to find us still on. But I did say that when me and Dave get going, it can
go on for a while. Yeah. So I'll just catch up with a couple of these.
Yeah. There is a question I need to address, but work your way down to it, Dave. It's not too far away.
Okay. The designer guidelines is very similar to the Japanese version, but this is right. It doesn't really add up for all the 10% fat it's allowed. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't really just. I agree, George. In a world full of players, don't be afraid to change the game. Yeah, exactly. They're looking to ban. That's right. They're looking to ban X in the UK. Yeah, main independent journalists forum. Yeah, same here. The Australia's been trying to do that for the last year. I think the last 2 years actually. Ever since Elon Musk took over, Actually, they've been trying to ban it. That's good, man. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Question, George, have you and the team thought about the schedule for the GBMU, as in how it would be held and activities, etc.?
Yes, we have. In the last week, we've started getting the ball rolling. We now have a provisional list of speakers, which will include Jonathan himself. It will definitely include Angela Lero, who I told you about from Los Angeles, and Dr. Kiltz, who is coming over to visit. Lauren is going to invite Dr. Abs. We're not sure. We're waiting on that one as yet. Obviously, we've always got the possibility of Richard and Stephen, who are very good. We also have other people from America coming over, but Jonathan. So far at the moment, Jonathan, Dr. Kiltz, and Angela are confirmed speakers. But we have a pool of backups, including myself, including Stephanie, including Lee Copus, including Lauren. We have this incredible pool of talent that we can draw upon. But as Jonathan says, the schedule demands that we don't all get up and have half an hour each. Otherwise, we'll be there for 2 days. So the schedule will probably be arrival about 9 a.m. I'm hoping to organise a breakfast stand this year, which will be bacon, eggs, etc. And then we will have the morning session. We will then have the lunch break, which I shall make sure this year is longer than last year because it all got a bit chaotic. We're going to slightly change the way things are going to be done this year. Instead of actually having all food included in the ticket, what we're going to do is actually have the caterer sell retailer over so you can actually go and choose how much you want to eat or how little you want to eat by going and purchasing it. It will be a hog roast as it was last year, and there will be a lion alternative, which will be 7-ounce burgers, which will be made from ground beef, minced beef, added fat this year, and salt. So they will be lion friendly. And then in the afternoon, we will have the other session, which will end up with a Q&A. And then in the evening, there will be entertainment, and possibly we might have a live band at lunchtime as well. And in the evening, I'm hoping to have a live band, but backed up by Grammar's Crochet Corner. We have a large screen, and I'm hoping to play a lot of her songs on video there because she's given me permission to do that with no copyright infringement. So we can have, if we have a sort of 2-hour live session, either side of it, we can bracket it with on the live screen. We can have carnivore dedicated music, which will include DC's story, which will include Kerry's story, which will include the March of the Carnivores, which she's recently written. The Journey of a Carnivore Woman, which is about herself, Healing Humanity, another one dedicated to Dr. Kiltz. I think it's called The Lion's Way or something like that, and Fat Freedom. It's just this she's got this fabulous catalogue of music, which are like country, soft rock, country and western style songs, and they're all 100% carnivore based. So what could be a better form of entertainment for a carnivore meetup?
Very cool. Yeah. Oh, that's excellent, man. Yeah. So, well, we've reached the bottom of the comments, and we're about 2 hours in now. So
yeah, I do. As you know, Dave, I've got a horse racing interest as well. It's Saturday. One of the meetings was abandoned today, so that's cuts my work in half. But I still do have to go and do some work on it. Otherwise, my friends will be, where's George's article this week? He's usually posted by now, so I better go and fulfill my obligations to the horse racing world as well.
Yeah, no worries, my man. Yeah, it's great to catch up, though. It's really good to
talk
absolutely. To you again.
Dave, I'll email you, and we will get a date for maybe a joint interview with me and Lainey, and we will talk about Lainey's cancer journey and about the randomized control trial that she's on, which is a good thing, we think. So yeah, there'll be plenty to talk about. So I'll flip you an email, and we'll arrange a time and a date. How about that?
Absolutely, right. Mate. Absolutely.
I'm going to bail out early, Dave, and I'll let you wrap things up. So I'm just going to say goodbye to everybody now and jump ship.
No worries, mate. Take care. Well, thanks for joining me there, George. Always good catching up, and thanks to everyone for joining the chat. Jonathan especially. Thanks very much, my man. Always good having you around. And look, I hope everyone is having a great day or night wherever you are, and wish you all the very best for the year. And like I said, if you are going through tough times, you know, like again, like I was talking about before earlier on in the live today, you know, these things at these times are not permanent, you know, and you can get through these times. And you know, hopefully I can you know, you can see my story and you can realize that there are better days ahead. And yeah, certainly find it, you know, you can find it in yourself anyway. Thank you all very much for joining me. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you all again soon. Take care.